I had a very frank conversation with President Xi this past summer on this issue. And I pointed out to him, without any government prodding, 600 American corporations left Russia, from McDonald's to Exxon to across the board. And I said, and if you are engaged in the same kind of brutality by supporting the brutality that's going on, I said, you may face the same consequence. I don't anticipate, we haven't seen it yet, but I don't anticipate a major initiative on the part of China providing weaponry to Russia.
Secretary Blinken has said publicly, we have begun to see, we have begun to collect intelligence suggesting that China is considering the provision of lethal equipment. That's not to suggest that they've made a definitive conclusion about this. Well, we're confident that the Chinese leadership is considering the provision of lethal equipment. We also don't see that a final decision has been made yet, and we don't see evidence of actual shipments of lethal equipment.
When China talks rhetorically about the war in Ukraine, they tie themselves into knots because they know that going all in with Russia in this war in Ukraine would alienate a substantial number of countries that they are working hard to maintain good relations with. So from our perspective, actually, this war presents real complications for Beijing. We have not seen China yet provide military equipment to Russia for purposes of fighting in the war in Ukraine. We haven't seen it yet. We're continuing to watch. We'll stay vigilant, as President Biden said, but so far we haven't seen it.
The fact that they're going to meet next week, Chairman Xi and Putin, to discuss this unholy alliance that they have to put weapons into Ukraine, to me is very disturbing because while it may be Ukraine today, it's going to be Taiwan tomorrow. That's why this is so important.
Well, look, they're already helping the Russians. I mean, every time you hear the Chinese officials talk about this, they're blaming us, they're blaming NATO for the Ukrainian war. I agree there should be a serious red line with regard to them supplying military equipment to the Russians, and I think that should be in the form of sanctions.